Anime is a big part of my life. In fact, it's probably a big part of everyone's life. Everyone and their mom definitely knows shows like Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and other shows. It just had a heavy grip on a lot of people. Anime will never fail to entertain me. And plus, there's a lot of different anime you can choose. From your shonens, to your slice of life, to your psychological dramas, to your comedies, or even you sickos who watch anime with sister in the title. You disgust me, get on my side, man. But the point is, anime is inclusive for everyone. And the majority of animes between the early 2000s to like 2019 was when anime was on a generational run. But if we're comparing this to some of the anime coming out today, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. Anime don't hit the same no more. This shit ass now, low key. Now, I'm not saying there's no good anime coming out at all. We got heat dropping this year like Kaiji number 8 season 2, Underdog season 2, a Demon Slayer movie, even though I haven't watched that show in 2 years. Shit, I exactly know where I left off. The Misasha was stuck in a war bubble, he's cooked it. And My Hero's getting his final season. But the greatest anime of them all coming out this year is Rent a Girlfriend season 4. Are you joking? You know how long I've been waiting for this? All gooners, rise up and give yourself a round of applause. Kazuya is about to fumble again. This is what we've been waiting for. But none of these even came close to the last 5 to 10 years of what anime had people in a complete chokehold. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. With how most of these animes had some people going crazy for them and were hyped to all of us at one point, some of these animes had the biggest fall-offs of all time. And I'm not just talking about regular fall-offs like it just died down. Nah. I'm talking about mega drops in animation, story, adding or taking away things that weren't even making sense. They were too focused on making shit simple and beginner friendly, even though it wasn't that hard to understand anyway. Like, we're not stupid, you know. Some of the fall-offs in anime were so bad, they would have a man crying, bro. I used to tear up at them, I'm not gonna lie. So I thought I'd take it upon myself to show you, man, some of the anime that just died. And without further introduction, let's jump right in, man. And we'll start with one of the most devastating anime fall-offs of all time, Tokyo Ghoul. This anime was hands down in competition to be known as one of the best anime of all time. The glaze some people had to Tokyo Ghoul was unreal. Everything about this anime was fire. From the story, to the characters, to the opening I used to bang out 24/7. Unravel is one of the best anime openings of all time. Not to mention the opening almost has 90 million views on YouTube. People know this shit is a banger. The first season of this anime was amazing. This show had the whole world moving crazy at one point. Shit, I even know guys who used to draw Juzo Suzuya tattoos on their hands. Certain people be going crazy for this show, I'm not gonna lie. But everything in Tokyo Ghoul season 1 was peak. This is one of the few anime I can say that had a flawless season 1 from start to finish. Everything from Kaneki trying to navigate between his new life of becoming a ghoul, going through the motions the entire season from fighting other ghouls and the CCG, to navigating his new powers, to all the crazy freaky shit he was doing with Rize. This was class to be watching back in the day, I'm not gonna lie. When I first watched this anime, I was low-key geeking. You had other sick characters like the fine shit Toka, my guy Yomo, the guy and girl who ran both the dog and devil 8 gangs in the show. They were out moving like they were gang members, fam, ready to jump some people. It was crazy. And you also had the weirdo Tsukiyama who was out here feeding differently for Kaneki. Bro couldn't get enough. He was getting high off his blood like a sicko. But Tokyo Ghoul really had levels to it. And at the end of season 1, when Kaneki went whitehead and started beating the brakes of Jason, that was one of the most toughest scenes in the anime. This shit was gas. And you know they were playing the opening when they were boxing as well. And you know in anime when they start playing the opening when they're about to box, the fight is about to be peak. Black Clover low-key took notes from Tokyo Ghoul here. So as great as season 1 was, when I heard another 2 seasons were coming out, I was getting gassed. I thought this shit was gonna be peak. But this shit was garbage, man. Route A was absolutely mid. It wasn't horrible, but this shit was definitely a downgrade from the first season. It was more about everybody else than it was about Kaneki. How the hell did they manage to make Kaneki a side character in his own show? The guy barely got any screen time. And this guy was taking the role of being a nonchalant dreadhead too seriously. Kaneki in most scenes of the anime would just stand there looking at nothing in silence. Bro was saying a whole lot of nothing. The only times Kaneki would say anything was when this guy would be fighting somebody screaming like a whole bug out. Like, how is the MC more silent than everybody else? Make it make sense. Some of the things in this season were unexplained and just weren't making sense if you really think about it. For example, why the hell did Kaneki join Aogiri? Aogiri are the ops! These men are straight up the Ghoul Akatsuki. They kidnapped the guy and tortured him. And then this guy just decides to join them. My guy, are you dumb? And then there were just some characters in the show that were just never given enough depth to who they even were. Like when Kaneki was out here fighting a guy named Shachi. Who the hell is Shachi? The guy looks like he belongs in the Spanish soap opera. Why the hell is he in Japan? I was mad confused when Kaneki was fighting him. I didn't know who this guy was. I swear to God, there was a bunch of random shit that went unchecked this season. But Route A was aight. It was mid. There was a lot of improvements I could have had, but it was an alright show. And there were some fire moments, like Centipede Kaneki, and the whole end bit where the CCG and all the ghouls are having a huge war was a fire moment. And the final scene where Kaneki is carrying Hide and they're playing the opening was a fire scene, I'll be real. But I ain't really got that much problems with Route A. But you see Tokyo Ghoul Re? Tokyo Ghoul Re is complete garbage, bro. This was the reason why Tokyo Ghoul fell off. This shit was so ass. Half of the things going on in the anime was mad confusing. Like when Armon and the rest of the CCG from the earlier seasons just became ghouls out of nowhere. They did a whole Freaky Friday Friday. This was random as hell. And there was no build up to it. It just happened. The new characters and the whole Queen squad, trash. Characters again had no story to them, so a lot of shit wasn't adding up, I swear down. I used to hate Mitsuki, man. The guy reminded me of Chris from Sonic X, hyper obsessed with Kaneki. The guy stabbed a pregnant lady. You're weird, bro. The only good thing I can remember to come out of Reed was Black Reaper Kaneki. And the guy was tough as hell, but he was crashing out differently. As soon as he packed off the one-eyed owl, bro just straight up dashed Tsukiyama off a building. And he was on some timing for 2 episodes. He was a demon. But throughout the whole of Reed, a lot of the show was rushed. It wasn't adding up at certain moments. You couldn't justify certain characters' behavior because there wasn't enough story about them. And you were probably just out there thinking what the hell was going on throughout the anime. It just derailed right after the first season and was trash. And just saying, I have not read the manga. But the core people that have read the manga trash the anime. They violate it. They hate on this shit. And I can understand why. Because this show didn't even follow their manga properly. My guy, there's a script for you to follow already. How you gonna fumble the anime? Some people say the Tokyo Ghoul manga is one of the best manga of all time. So why would you go ahead and try and change the anime? That makes no sense. It was already peak fiction. Why would you not follow it? You lot are stupid. Season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul was setting up the anime to be something great and gave me hype, thinking the rest of it would be good if not better. Then the rest of it came out and this was just straight up doo-doo. Tokyo Ghoul needs the Full Metal Alchemist treatment and needs a reboot because the potential of this anime was too high for it just to become some washed out shit later on. It was disheartening. I would never forgive you, man, for butchering this anime. It should have been peak. Now for the next anime that has a criminal fall off, we gotta talk about the Promised Neverland because hands down the second season of this show was horrible. Anyone that's seen the first season will tell you that it's low-key a masterpiece. So I don't understand how a team of people just decide to completely bottle the anime the next season. They rushed it just so they could finish the anime quickly. They cut out whole arcs like the Goldie Pond arc just so they could cut to the end of the show, which made huge holes in the show and made less things make sense. The emotion was lacking. And once again, I'm not a manga reader, but when a majority of people collectively come together to say the manga before the anime adaptation was peak, why would studios cut out the best parts of the manga? This just reminds me of Boruto and why the Boruto anime is ass. They longed it out with a bunch of anime canon, which is basically just filler, and they were out here milking this shit, only giving you a canon episode every 30 episodes. Why would you not stick to the manga? It makes no sense. The arcs they skipped in the Promised Neverland would be like skipping major parts in anime. You just don't do that. Why would you cut these out knowing these add to the context, developing the story more? It made no sense to even cut it out. These man just wanted to jump to the end so quick. You might as well have not made the anime in the first place if that was what you lot were gonna do. The disappointment the anime community got from the Promised Neverland is like the disappointment Pacer fans got to OKC winning the championship. This was just sad as hell to be seen. In less than 5 episodes in season 2, they're recapping season 1, which is fair enough. You know, some people probably haven't seen the first season in a minute, so I mean that's valid. But why did they recap season 2 as well? That makes no sense. We just saw that. It's like they think the people watching the anime are a bunch of babies moving like the Rugrats. What kind of demeaning stupid crap is that? And the jump from episode 4 to 5 is insane. In episode 4, when they're trying to escape the hideout, 1 episode later there's a whole time skip. Why? Where did this come from? There was no knowledge to this, nothing to be applied to this. Somebody clicked their fingers and a time skip happened. What does this mean? And regarding the manga, they were taking the piss out of it in the anime. When Norman came back, the guy basically was spewing a bunch of shit that happened in the manga because the studios were just defo too lazy to animate any of this shit. So they were out here thinking that we would understand everything that went on in the manga just because that guy spent time talking about it. The laziness and low effort here needs to be studied. This is what you don't do when you make an anime. This show was so bad. I thought it was a bad dream. I thought the whole thing felt like a plot twist. It was criminal to watch, man. I'm solely an anime watcher and I'm saying this shit was so bad I could barely get through it, and I didn't even know the same things that people who read the manga know. That's crazy. The whole season felt like a punishable crime. They really thought we'd be satisfied with a PowerPoint presentation as an ending. I'm actually gonna punch the studio in the face, I swear down. Who greenlit this shit? That's insane. If they put the time, effort, resources, and whatever else you have to put in to make an anime great, this could have been one of the best anime of all time. I'm talking about an easy top 10. But instead of doing that, instead of following what was written already, they decided to cut and completely change everything. No one rates season 2. I swear you might as well throw it in the bin. This shit was garbage. I know certain people who cried at the second season from the quality drop, not following the canon story from the manga, which is what even got this popular enough to be an anime in the first place, which doesn't even make any sense the more you think about it. It's like I said with Tokyo Ghoul. Why would you not follow what made it popular enough to become an anime in the first place? I swear, man, it's not adding up here. This has to be one of the most famous devious fumbles in anime history. The Promised Neverland had one of the best first seasons of all time. I'd go as far as to say it was perfection. It was gas and had certain people going psycho over it. And as soon as you get to season 2, it just makes me want to end everything. I hated this shit, man. And now onto my final pick of today's video. And this anime could have been revolutionary and had so much potential. This could have been a definite top anime. I was one of the toughest pieces of media to come out until it fell off after a short while. This show was so tough, you'd be doing the signature movie with your friends because it was hella mainstream. And it had some people geeking for the next seasons. And the anime I'm talking about is 7 Deadly Sins, because this show could have been something. 7 Deadly Sins had the chance to be one of the greatest anime of this decade. And I ain't even trying to glaze it here. This shit at the time was the best Netflix original anime ever put out. The first season of this show was amazing. The scene where Meliodas grabbed Gilthan in the spit and was getting getting dragged along with it, the animation, and the straight tough moment Meliodas had during this scene in itself was amazing. When I saw this, I thought this was about to become one of the best anime of all time. This shit was tough as hell. The whole of the first season was great. The fight scenes were class. The story of bringing together the 7 deadly sins to fight the Holy Knights was tough as hell, and the animation was clear. And then when you get to season 2, the show just elevated heavy. The 10 Commandments were one of the toughest anime groups I've ever seen. My goat, the Aura Farmer Escanor, came in and made his appearance, and he was smoking the hell out of people like Galen and Estarossa. And when he had that one stare down with Estarossa was a class moment. The anime used to be fire. But then, ladies and gentlemen, the movie happened. And right after the movie, this anime became dog shit. The animation became some of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. Shit looked so bad I thought it was made by a 5-year-old. But they were actual real scenes in the anime. Fight scenes in the show weren't hitting the same no more because of the animation. They censored blood by making it white, and the story deadass had a lot of weird Guna moments to it. Like, Elena and Bard is not legal, twin. This ain't normal. She looked like a kid. What are you doing? And Meliodas and Elizabeth's curse is some of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Bro is holding her as a baby and saying, "Don't touch my woman." What's he talking about here? He was out here moving like his middle name was Diddy. What an absolute sicko. But the irony in 7 Deadly Sins being bad is the fact that it still somehow got stuff dropping for it. They got a whole game coming out for it. Still had seasons coming out after the downfall with some ugly ass 3D animation. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how the hell it's still going. That's shocking to even be thinking about. But the 7 Deadly Sins fall off needs to be examined. This anime, when it first came out, became so popular in a short amount of time, and for what it is, I thought it was gonna be one of the best new gens to come out. I mean, I'll be honest, the fan service was always a problem. Meliodas was moving crazy in the first few seasons, but this anime at one point was mad popular and people would love talking about it, but they wasted it. It just dragged on with a half-assed story, the animation capability of a 2-year-old with crayons, and deadass just a bunch of weird things going on in the anime. I probably would have dropped it eventually because some of the characters were moving too weird, but if the story stayed consistent, the animation didn't change, and they removed some of the weird moments in the show, this possibly could have been a top 10. I don't think that's crazy to say, but these are some of the anime with the heaviest fall-offs I could think of. I mean, there's a million more, but that would just take hours, and I'll be honest with you guys, I ain't got hours because the UK heatwave is burning me alive. It's 1,000,000 degrees outside, and cribs in the UK are designed to keep heat in. Even opening your window and using a fan isn't gonna save you. I gotta take 5 showers a day to just not be musty. My ass cheeks are melting through the chair. It's insane. But we're going off track here. I meant to say something. Thank you for 20,000. I appreciate all the love and all the support I've been getting recently, and we finna keep going and become the best channel we can be. But with that being said, if you guys got any more anime that fell off that I haven't mentioned, write them down below. I appreciate you, man. Have a blessed day, and I'm gonna die from this heat wave right now. Peace.